Hi, I'm Lucas Gabb, and today I'm at Gear4music with Lee Wraith from Ibanez, and we're going to be talking about some of the new semi-hollow guitars from the 2023 range. Thanks for being here today, Lee.
Oh, absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. That was a nice little bluesy jam.
I know, it was nice, wasn't it? Smooth.
Makes a change from the other video we made.
Oh yeah, it was a little bit different.
A little bit different.
But yeah, so thank you for bringing these guitars in today. So we've got some of the new semi-hollow body guitars.
We have. These are part of our Artcore Expressionist range.
Okay, cool.
And as I was talking about this earlier, we, Ibanez, have a long history of making these kinds of guitars, these jazz boxes, if you like, because some of our artists and our longest serving artists are actually jazz musicians. So people like George Benson, John Schofield, Pat Metheny, amazing jazz musicians, and have been with Ibanez for a long time. So it's very easy to kind of almost pigeonhole Ibanez and go, oh, they just make pointy guitars, when actually they've probably got a longer history of making these kinds of guitars.
It's quite a diverse roster, isn't it, really, when you think about it? There's a lot
yeah. Well, it wasn't really until the kind of, I don't know, mid to late 80s, where kind of shred was kicking off, and then Vi came along and made the Gem, which spawned the RG range, and all the other stuff that went with that. So prior to that, Ibanez were making these kinds of guitars, and they've carried on. And what they've done is they make obviously very high-end ones, and then they've made more affordable ones. And these are kind of in the middle, really.
Yeah, so they're not going to break the bank, but you still get a lot of the.
They're still a bit fancy, aren't they?
Yeah, you get the premium kind of like features you'd expect from like a mid-range Ibanez, but
yeah, in terms of the inlays and some of the finishes and some of the appointments. So this one is the AMH90. Comes in a range of different colours. I think there's about 4.
Yeah.
This is
a black and a blue.
Black and a Prussian blue.
Yeah. Oh, fancy.
Oh yes. This is my favourite, the ivory one. It's got Super 58 pickups, which are really kind of warm, traditional sounding pickups, which is what you want in a guitar like this. Gibraltar bridge. Then we've got, a volume and tone control for each of the humbucking pickups. And then you've got this tri-sound switch, which allows you to kind of get 3 different sounds out of each of the
okay, so it's not like a coil split, it's just like a different voicing for
each. For each one, which is great because you might want to have a very kind of warm tone for something like I don't know, let's have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you went to the bridge pickup and you wanted to change it out again, then you're very much then in kind of rockabilly territory. You know, that kind of... So it can do so much different stuff.
Like you said, they're very like versatile guitars, and I think obviously having that 3 voice is super essential because we don't know which performance you're going to be using the guitar for. So
totally different players, and I've seen people playing blues on a semi-hollow body before. I mean, I saw Gary Moore playing some amazingly melodic, powerful blues on a semi-hollow guitar. So you can do anything with them, and they look cool as well.
They do. There's like an element of class, isn't there?
Yeah,
just
there
particularly is. The white finish, like you say, is very, very clean.
So you've got this kind of I think there's be a three-piece. You can't see it because it's all kind of finished off, but it's a three-piece neck. And then we've got a Mikasa ebony fretboard. And this has the kind of pearloid dot inlays, which are very nice.
So 22 frets on that one?
This one's 22. And then you've got what look like, ebony kind of dials, but they're not just a really nice finish.
Quite like matte. It's quite flat. It's pretty nice, to be honest. Yeah, it's quite unique. I've not really seen that.
They're classy looking guitar, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we have this gorgeous creature over there and the guitar.
Hey!
This has Super 58s in it as well.
Yep.
This has got a solid spruce top and linden back and sides.
With a slightly arched top, though.
Yeah. And this one's linden top and sides. So they're different tones, slightly slimmer body as well.
Yeah.
So acoustically, non-plugged in, it's going to sound different. This one comes with flat wound strings on it, which are an experience, aren't they?
They definitely are, yeah. Something new, a little bit new, a bit smoother. But I'm a fan, actually. I think they're quite nice. I think, particularly with this guitar, they do sound really great. So I maybe wouldn't even be opposed to not changing them out.
Yeah, try them out. This has, again, got a three-piece neck.
You can just see there. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Into the headstock.
Again, a Mikasa ebony board. It's got a walnut bridge. That's a floating one. So if you took the strings off, it would you could take it off the guitar completely, and it's just that's how these guitars send the resonance of the strings into the body. So at the minute we've got it, it's just there to make sure it doesn't get damaged, basically. In transit to your house. No fancy switching on this one, other than just the three-way switch, tone and volume control for each of the Super 58 pickups. And it's just a really lovely looking guitar, isn't it? So it
is really nice.
There's this one and a really nice kind of sunburst finish as well. And again, there's a lot of guitar here for your cash, and you don't have to be a jazz player to enjoy them.
No, I mean, I'm definitely not a jazz player, as I'm sure you know, and I'm enjoying playing this. It's definitely quite unique for me, but I love the sound of it. I think it's great, particularly having the three pickup option and the tone as well is always really nice because you can help shape what's going on with the flat wound strings. I think it's a little bit warmer, and not as kind of like bright. Yeah. So having that option to kind of switch to the neck or blend the two is always really useful.
The thing I like about these guitars as well, even if you don't play them very often, they just look nice in your house. My wife, is not going to give me any grief for having it in the corner.
It's like a grand piano.
Green guitar. She might be a bit like, why is that down here?
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Super, super cool.
Yeah. So they're very, very nice. There's lots of different ones in the range. This is just a tiny selection. And then we've also got this guitar.
This little work of art down here.
So I'll switch that out and we can talk about that. If you don't already know and you've been living under a rock, this is the Tim Henson of Polyphia signature model. Nylon string, electro nylon string.
Been causing quite a stir on the guitar community at the moment.
On the interwebs.
Yeah.
Lots of people interested in these guitars. And so I can tell you a bit about it, play some notes for you on it. There's also another iteration of this, because based on Tim's design, what we've got is an even more affordable version of this guitar that's minus some of his specific signature appointments. So in terms of what we've got here, we've got Sapele back and sides, walnut bridge, and it's got, if those of you who are familiar with Ibanez and familiar with Steve Vai, you'll know that Steve had this, or has this Tree of Life inlay on his gem guitars. That's very famous, and Tim's obviously been influenced by that, but has put his own twist on it, and this is the Tree of Death inlay.
It's a bit strange considering it's, an acoustic guitar, but I think it works really, really well.
It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. And I think probably looking at it from afar, you can, I'm going to get really lost on that when I'm playing it. But actually you don't. And the fret markings are really easy to see. And you're not going to get lost because it's not, a traditional looking fretboard. So very, very, very easy to play. You have a single sound hole here.
It sounds great as well. We were just playing
It's fun, isn't it? It's an interesting way to it's just another thing to inspire your guitar playing. It's got this lovely kind of abalone, I think it's mother of pearl actually, isn't it?
Neck binding.
Neck binding, all around the body. Absolutely, it's really stunning.
There's a little touch on the heel as well on the back of the
of course there is, just here.
It's nice as that.
Yeah, just a really nice guitar to play. You've got single input strap button. On the FRH10N, which is the more affordable version of this guitar, that's actually got a mute button on there.
Okay.
And there's no preamp. You just plug it in and that's what you've got. On Tim's signature, you've got the Ibanez preamp. I'll just talk you through what's on there rather than show you at this point. You've got a volume, you've got treble and bass, EQ settings. You've got a tuner, so that acts as your mute switch.
Oh, okay,
so it's like, have I got a mute switch? No, but I've got a tuner.
Hold on the tune to
so that's going to work for you.
disconnect.
And then it's got a phase button as well, which is really kind of common on electroacoustics because, you're trying to cut out feedback and that sort of stuff. This is one of those guitars that what it sounds like in the room is probably what it's going to sound like DI'd. And we've gone DI'd today, so this is going literally straight into the desk with some reverb on. So I'll play you some bits and pieces and then you can make your own mind up about it. But it's a nice guitar, isn't it?
It's a really nice guitar. It's definitely, like you say, it's a cool tool to have because it's not something that I've personally seen before. So
yeah,
having that option is great.
Well, you were talking to me earlier, and you know more about it than I do.
He originally found, I think he found the guitar like that it was based on whilst on tour, and I think he found it in like a second-hand shop, and that's when he kind of was like asked Ibanez. He said, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, it's a discontinued model." At which point, I think he started making demos with the guitar for the new record, which has just been released. And the whole concept behind that was that at that point, he could say, look, this is how this works in the application. Yeah. At that point, I think he won Ibanez over and we have it today.
Well, so we have him to thank for it. And we have well done, mate. And like I say, the other iteration, the more affordable one, is an equally as good guitar. Yeah. And does, like I say, if the Tree of Death thing isn't for you, go and check the other one out because it's just a really lovely electro nylon, and they sound great. And you can play lots of different styles of music on it.
Yeah,
I was tinkering about with all kinds of stuff earlier. But you can obviously do the whole kind of, you can do the classical thing, or you could do.
Sounds so good.
The gypsy jazz stuff if you wanted to on it. So, yeah, it's one of these guitars that you pick it up and you're going to end up being inspired to play something maybe differently.
I feel like it's a tinkerer's guitar's dream as well.
Totally. It's resonant enough in the room and playable. It's not a difficult guitar.
Well, I was watching you play earlier on, and like some of the things that you're able to play on that guitar is something you would not normally be able to play on a nylon-stringed guitar. And
no, not easily. Yeah, not easily. And I'm not, I'm not a classical guitar player. I play with fingers and with pick, and it takes them both equally well. So if you're a shredder, you're going to be living life on this. If you just want to play, chord stuff, then it's going to sound absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so just all in all, really, really good workhorse of a guitar, actually. I can see a lot of people who are playing in function bands and that kind of stuff who might want that sound that you can only get from an electro nylon, which is actually really difficult to mic one up or find one with a good preamp, or you don't want to spend a huge amount of money on one because you know it for 3 or 4 songs, or you want one for recording at home, or a bit more silent practice. Just great guitars.
I know personally for me that would be one of those guitars that I'd just sit, whilst I'm doing something else and just play for hours on end, or like flesh out other ideas on that guitar because it's like, I don't know, it's got a really pure natural sound. You can tell whether something's good or bad just by being in the room with that, before you even mic it up before you go direct out, and at that point, it turns into a completely different beast.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah, and once you get it into your digital audio workstation, then there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with it anyway, isn't it?
Like you say, it's obviously great for live applications as well because miking up acoustic guitars can always be a bit of a nightmare. And you never know what it's gonna sound like. At the end of the day, you're giving that sound to someone else to then process as they will. But because the sound that you're getting is so direct and it doesn't have that you're not the mercy of the room or anything like that. It is, you know what you're dealing with, and it's...
You're going to get a lot less feedback. I mean, just because of where the sound hole is and all that sort of stuff, aren't you?
Sure, and mobility is also important. You're going to get so much more mobility with that than you are any acoustic guitar, which is...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
There's something quite magical about nylon strings as well, and you don't have to keep these specific sort of classical strings. I was talking earlier about the flamenco strings, the red and the black ones that you can get. They sound amazing on guitars like this. So if you're kind of like finding them a bit too floppy for you, then you can always change the strings. You're not sort of stuck with the same typical classical strings. It's always worth mentioning that. They'd look super cool on this set of black.
Yeah, particularly with the tree of death underneath.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool.
So Lee, thank you for coming down today.
Total pleasure.
I really appreciate you gracing us with your time and these beautiful guitars and some of your fantastic licks.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So yeah, if you've liked this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and stay tuned as we'll be having more Ibanez content up on our YouTube channel soon. Thanks guys, see you next time.